G'day everyone, Daniel Anderson here. Now, as part of a recent Modern Workplace group coaching session that I ran inside the community, we took a look at how we could create a better onboarding experience for new staff members by using Microsoft Teams, SharePoint and Planner, and also integrating this with Power Automate to provide some automation. And part of that workflow, part of that process was being able to have a SharePoint list that held all of our onboarding tasks, and we use that as a master list. But then as part of the workflow, as part of the provisioning process, we get a list of all of those tasks and then create automatically tasks and assign them to the relevant people inside of a planner plan, and then attach that to the team that is being used for the onboarding process. So I just wanted to pull that little component out because I've had a lot of comments about just that process. So let's take a look at how we can set up a SharePoint list as a master task list, use that data from there, grab everything out of the list, and then create tasks in a planner plan. Okay, so we can have a look here. This is the end result. So we've got a simple Power Automate flow. It's just a manual trigger flow, and let's go through the process of how we go about setting this up. All right, so I'm just going to go to create. We're going to, just for the purpose of this video here, we're just going to use an instant cloud flow, and we're going to choose the manually trigger a flow. Let's just go create onboarding tasks as the name. Tasks from master. Let's go from master, and we'll create this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the plan. Okay, so as part of the Office 365 group connector, we can actually now send a HTTP request like so. So we can see here, send a HTTP request, right? So we need to pass in the URI. It's a post method, not a get method, and we need to pass in the request body or the content that's part of this. So let me just jump back into the already created flow because we've got all of the information in here. So let's edit this. And we can see that the URI that we need, or the endpoint that we need to use, is this endpoint here from the Microsoft Graph. So I'm just going to copy this. We'll jump back into here. We'll paste that to post method, and you can see here that all we need to pass in is two things: title and an owner. And let's just pop back in here. We'll pop this in the body, and the owner section here is the ID of the group in question. Okay, so we need to go and grab the ID of the team. Now I've got a team here that I'm going to use, and it's called onboarding test. So I'm just going to jump into the Office 365 admin center. We'll go to active groups, we'll go to onboarding, we'll go to onboarding test here. We'll just open this up, and you can see that up the top here we've got the ID of the group. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to copy that. You could go and grab this dynamically if you wanted to as well, but right now let's just grab that, and we'll paste that in manually there, and that's the group that we're going to create this plan in. All right, you can see this is the title of the plan. So let's change this to onboarding task list, and let's just go demo. All right, so we're good to go. So we're now, once we manually trigger this, it's going to create a plan inside of that group. And we can see the next step is that what's returned from this, we need to, is a Json response. So we need to pass that Json and get the ID of the plan that gets created. So if we save this to start with, because we need to generate a JSON response, right? So we need to, if we jump into the one that's already created, we need to pop in a schema, and we can generate this from a sample. Now what I tend to do is just give this a run first, so, and that will then give us the output. So I'm just going to run this. We'll go test. We'll just sign in to use this connector, and then we'll run this flow like so, and we're now done. So once this flow has run successfully, we can then grab the response here. So if I open up this, you can see that here's the body. And if I grab all of this, we can generate our schema from this from that response. So let's go edit. We'll go new step. We need to pass the JSON inside here. So we'll use this pass JSON data operator. Now the content is the body content from that send HTTP request. So we're going to pop that in the content, and we're going to insert a sample JSON payload, and we're going to go done. And you can see that we've got now a schema that has been automatically built for us. So based on that schema, we can see the next step is we're going to create 2 buckets in our plan. So new step, let's look for planner. And we're going to jump down to create a bucket when we can find it. So let's just scroll down, create bucket. All right, so the name of the bucket is going to be to do. The group ID is going to be that onboarding test group. So let's just look for that. Again, you could do this dynamically if we wanted to as well, but for this, we're just going to manually enter here. Now the plan ID we're going to get from the pass JSON step there, and it's the first ID we're going to choose there. So that's now creating a bucket. Now I'm going to create another bucket here, and we're going to create an in progress bucket here. So we'll go create bucket, same thing, in progress. We'll go the group ID, we'll just select that onboarding test group like so, and the plan ID. Now we can do something a little bit different here. So what we can do here is we can, from that create bucket step above, we can actually pass in the plan ID in this case. So we can use that there. And if we rename these, which we probably should, if we go create to do bucket, we'll change this one to create in progress bucket. And we've now got 2 buckets that we're going to create. Now we've got a master task list. So we've got a SharePoint site, a human resources site, and we've got this list, pretty simple, title, responsible person, and the phase, right? So we're just going to be looking at the title and the responsible person. So if I now jump back into the flow, then the first thing we need to do is we need to get these items. So get items, there's a SharePoint action for that called get items. We need to pass in the site. So I'm just going to copy the URL of the site, jump back in here, we'll go custom value, and we'll paste in the site. That will then pick up all of the lists, and we need to use this task master list. All right, and that's it. So once we've got all of these tasks, we need to iterate and loop over these. So if we go to apply to each, so we're going to iterate over these and then create a task for each. So we need to select the output, which is the output of these get items, and that's the value. We then need to add the action of create task, which is a planner action, like so. And then we need to pass in the group ID. Again, we pass in the group where this plan is, which is onboarding test. We can pass in the plan ID, and remember we get the plan ID from a couple of spots now. So we've got the plan ID that we can pass in after we've from the response that when we created that bucket. So I'm just going to use the plan ID from the to-do bucket. We'll paste that in there. The title is going to be the title from the SharePoint list, like so. Now the bucket ID is going to be, I want to place this in the to-do bucket. All right, so nothing's in progress at the moment. I want to create all of these in the to-do bucket. So if I scroll down to this, there's the create in progress bucket, there's the create to-do bucket. We can pass in the ID of the bucket, like so. And then we can add the assigned person, because part of that SharePoint list is that we had the responsible person. So we'll pass in the email addresses of the people that have been marked as responsible. Now the good thing about managing this in a list is that we can change the tasks. We can add more tasks, remove tasks. change the responsible person, and we can manage that just from the SharePoint list. We don't have to jump into here and change the flow every single time that we want to make an adjustment. So we're just going to save this now, and then let's give this a test. All right, so that's now been saved. It's just giving me a little bit of a warning about getting items. I know there's not that many in that list, so we're not going to be too concerned about that. We're going to manually start this. So we'll go test. We need to sign in here. Let's continue. We've got all our connections done. Let's run this flow. So that's now being run. After this has been run, we'll jump into this team here. It's just applying and creating all the tasks. And there we go, we're good to go. I'm gonna jump back into the task or the team here. Let's add a tab, and let's add the tasks by planner. And let's choose an existing plan from this team. And we can see here that we've got, I've actually already run this. So let's try and see which one is the right one. So let's just jump into here. We'll add this planner plan here, like so. That's not the correct one. So let's add the second one. So let's add the other existing planner plan, and we'll choose this second one, and we'll save that. And what we should have now are our to-do bucket, and also our in progress bucket, and also all the tasks. So there we go. There we've got all our tasks. The assigned people's been set. We've got the to-do bucket. We've got the in progress bucket. So that's how easy it is to be able to create a planner plan in a specific team, create a couple of buckets, and then use a SharePoint list as the master task list to then iterate and grab all of those tasks and create tasks in specific buckets inside Planner. So hope that brings you some value. Now, this was just a small little part of the modern workplace group coaching session that we do on a monthly basis inside the community. So if you are interested in joining those sessions and being coached by not only me but other experts in the field, jump into the community, loopcollective.io/join. Join the community there, and you can be part of that group coaching session as well. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.